Okay, so hey guys, and today I'm back with another Star Wars movie review, and this time it is Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, originally just known as Star Wars. So let's begin the review. Okay, so the opening of this movie is pretty epic and iconic and immediately gets you into the story that this movie is trying to tell. But I have one problem with this opening, and that is Darth Vader's voice. I don't know, it just doesn't sound like Darth Vader's iconic voice, but instead sounds like a discount, angrier version of it. Darth Vader himself just seems to be so watered down in this movie, and I really don't like this version of Darth Vader. It's a good thing that they improved him a lot in Empire Strikes Back, because I doubt he could have become as iconic as he already is if they didn't improve him a bit. Okay, so after the opening, this movie suddenly decides that it is going to be extremely weird and boring, so it becomes extremely weird and boring. The Java scenes are just so weird and meaningless, and I know that weird creatures like these living in the Star Wars universe is what gives this universe its charm, but still, they are just so weird and I don't like that. The Luke Skywalker scenes aren't all that great either, and this movie is just not that interesting or entertaining till they reach the Death Star. Okay, so now let's talk about the Death Star. And yes, I am going to skip the boring parts of this movie because there's really nothing much to talk about them. Anyways, it's so surprising that we get two iconic dialogues right in the same scene. This is No Moon and I Have a Bad Feeling About This are both absolutely great dialogues and they deserve to be iconic, and the scene itself where Luke and the others get inside the Death Star and discover that it's no moon but a space station is just so iconic. The Death Star's rooms also just look so cool and I love the designs. My favorite room design from the Death Star has to be the design of that room where Vader chokes and almost kills one of the Imperial officers. I think that's the meeting room or something. It's absolutely astonishing to believe that something like this was thought of and even executed very well in 1977. It just looks so cool and futuristic and I love it. What I don't love though is how they watered down stormtroopers for not only the rest of the movie but the entire freaking trilogy. Like at the beginning they were easily able to capture Princess Leia with a special gun thingy and were easily able to overpower the rebels, but now they're hardly able to shoot anything properly and that's kind of frustrating. I wish these stormtroopers were just as good as shooting as the clones. The clones were able to finish 90% or more of the Jedi, and these stormtroopers can't even shoot a few people properly. Okay, so now let's talk about the duel between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, and I was so excited for their rematch, but oh god, this movie just killed all my excitement. Obi-Wan vs Anakin was so good in episode 3, but now their rematch is absolute trash. And no, that old movie excuse won't work here because they were able to give us a fantastic fight just in Empire Strikes Back, which was released just a few years after this movie, so this duel could also have been as great as Luke vs Vader. However, I will give this fight some credit for at least surprising me a lot because Obi-Wan dying truly did surprise me a lot, and him being able to communicate with Luke even after dying was really interesting, and it was kind of a cliffhanger since it really got you interested to see the next movie to find out how Obi-Wan was actually doing this. Okay, so now let's talk about the most intense, interesting and best part of this movie. The part where Luke and all the other rebels learn about the weakness of the Death Star and go to finish it once and for all. I wish the entire movie was as intense as this, but no. Most of it was boring and not even that entertaining. This was by far my favorite scene of this movie, and Vader coming in to stop the rebels was such a surprise and also amped up the intensity a little bit. And when Luke finally used his force instincts instead of trusting a machine and blew up the freaking Death Star, it was just so satisfying and badass. After Luke and the others blow up the Death Star, Princess Leia gives medals to Han and Luke, and everyone talks about how Chewie never got a medal, but nobody talks about how C-3PO and R2-D2 didn't get one. Without those two robots, this entire movie wouldn't have been possible, and blowing up the Death Star also wouldn't have been possible, so they are the ones who truly deserve the medals. And so yeah, this ending was nice, but the boring parts of this movie really holds it back for me. In fact, this movie is my least favorite out of the 3 movies in the original trilogy. I absolutely love Empire and Return of the Jedi, but this is the only one that I don't love but just like. Rating 7 out of 10. Best moment, the Death Star's death. Okay, so yeah guys, and that was it for the video, and don't forget to like, comment, share and of course subscribe, and so yeah guys, bye.